When a narcissist knows you're done, these 3 desperate moves reveal their true colors. Ever wonder what happens when a narcissist realizes you're gone for good? Well, let me tell you, it's nothing short of predictable. And today, we're breaking down the 3 things they do once they know you're never coming back. Let's dive right in. So, what can you expect when they finally get it? First off, their desire for you skyrockets. It's like clockwork. Narcissists crave what they can't have. The moment you're truly out of reach, their obsession with you intensifies. Why? It's all about that forbidden fruit effect. The more unattainable you are, the more they want you. Sure, to some degree, it's a common human reaction to desire what's out of reach. But for a narcissist, it's on a whole other level. Their emptiness amplifies that craving, making it almost unbearable for them. And here's the kicker. Narcissists live in their own fantasy world, where they overestimate their worth and think they're superior to everyone else. So, when they realize you're not just leaving, but gone for good, the reality hits hard. They have to confront the void you leave behind, a void they'll feel deeply. In that emptiness, they'll be longing for the one that got away. Curious to see what else is in store? Stay tuned. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights. Here's the reality. Narcissists don't waste their time on just anyone. If a narcissist has targeted you for more than just a quick fling, it's because you offer something valuable in the relationship. At the very least, they believe you make them look good, which is all they care about. This can happen in any type of relationship, not just romantic ones. So, when they realize what they've lost by losing you, you can expect them to try to pull you back in. They'll likely start using hoovering techniques to suck you back into their cycle of abuse. You can pretty much count on it. If you want to understand more about hoovering, check out this video. Being ready for when this happens is key to avoiding all the pain and drama that could come your way. The thing is, there's no set time for when a narcissist will try to hoover you back in. It could happen months or even years later. I've personally had them attempt to hoover me after a decade of no contact. They can be relentless. So don't mistake it for something positive or flattering. It's not about you. It's about them needing something from you to meet their selfish, harmful needs. Once they've got you back in their grip, and the excitement of getting you back fades, you'll be thrown right back into their toxic cycle of abuse. If you're not familiar, this cycle has 3 stages: idealization, devaluation, and then discard. And along the way, there will be plenty of manipulation, projection, gaslighting, lying, and deceiving. It all starts with love bombing, where they shower you with affection and attention. This is known as the idealization phase, and it's either the start of the abuse or the restart if you've been away from them for a while. Make no mistake, this is exactly what's happening. They're trying to pull you back into the same abusive cycle where they build you up, tear you down, and eventually throw you aside. You may have already been through this before, and if you let them back in, you'll be going through it again. Many of you are already familiar with this pattern, whether it's been with romantic partners, friends, family members, or even at work. You know how painful it is, so I don't need to explain that. This is especially tough for those of us who are deeply empathetic. We show up with the best intentions, hoping to care for people who don't care at all about our well-being or what's good for us. If they manage to get back in, they suddenly act like the person you wanted them to be from the start. They'll be on their best behavior, saying all the right things, and even pretending to know how to apologize, something that's not easy for them but is part of their game. You're probably wondering, wait, they're finally being punctual, treating me kindly, and acting like they genuinely care, even apologizing like they mean it. That's exactly what they want you to think. They'll start making all kinds of false promises, hoping you'll fall for the show they're putting on. But here's the harsh truth. This good behavior is only temporary. It won't last long. If they're really trying to keep you around, they might keep up the act for a few months, but eventually, the mask will slip. Sooner or later, you'll find yourself back in the devalue phase, with them blaming you for everything and projecting all their unresolved issues onto you. Now here's what you need to know. If you've allowed them to come back into your life, If you haven't kept firm boundaries and stuck to your no-contact rule while focusing on your healing, you're right back at the start of their abuse cycle. If you're falling for their love bombing and fake promises, you've just restarted the whole toxic cycle. And when you finally wake up to what's happening and decide to leave again, you'll be starting over from square one. Each time this happens, it only gets harder, not easier. The longer you stay, the worse it gets. Your self-esteem takes a bigger hit each time, and it becomes more humiliating, more painful, and more damaging. The emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, and even financial toll will keep getting worse every time you relapse into this destructive relationship. So, before you start believing there's sudden change or think they've magically become a new person, take a moment to think carefully. The odds are more pain and heartbreak are just around the corner. It's only a matter of time. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you experienced this yourself? Share your story in the comments below. Now, if their attempts to hoover you back and have failed because you've been strong, maintaining no contact, and focused on healing, you can expect their next move. What will they do? They'll send in the flying monkeys, those people who are close to you, family, friends, neighbors, maybe even coworkers who don't know the full story, but think they do. These people will meddle, thinking they're helping, but they're really just making things worse because they don't have the wisdom or boundaries to mind their own business. Some individuals might genuinely want to help or be misled, but if they're siding with the narcissist and acting like little messengers, they probably have their own hidden agendas that don't consider your well-being. Be cautious of those flying monkeys and meddlesome allies. They offer a chance for you to practice establishing clear boundaries. So, when their usual tactics fall flat, what do they resort to? Tall tales, fairy tales, and crafted illusions. Let's be honest. Narcissists don't just stroll into the sunset with someone new and live happily ever after. Don't believe everything you see on social media or hear through the grapevine. It's all a facade. If they weren't capable of real love before, they won't suddenly turn into kind and caring individuals for someone else. So, stop putting yourself through the pain of thinking they're sharing the love that you missed out on. Instead, cut off contact, focus on healing, and start cherishing yourself. What can you anticipate next? A full-scale smear campaign? Yes, really. If you stand your ground and refuse to fall for their manipulative tricks, they'll still try to tarnish your reputation, even when they know they've messed up what could have been the best thing in their life. Why do they do this? Because narcissists are often bitter and cowardly. They'll have to choose between being the hero or the victim in their narrative, which means you'll end up as the villain in their story. So, be ready for this. Their predictability is astounding because it's all they know how to do. They can't get to you anymore. You've taken all the right steps. Thus, their next move will be to undermine your character, your reputation, and any relationships that could be influenced by them. They'll spread whatever lies they can, no matter how cruel, false, or nonsensical, to ruin your image to anyone willing to listen. Receiving this kind of treatment can be incredibly hurtful, particularly at the beginning of your healing process, when you're still feeling raw and exposed. That's why having a solid support network and engaging in self-care is essential. With dedication and time, you can build up your defenses against this negativity. Here's the bottom line. When a narcissist can't control or manipulate you anymore, they'll attempt to shape others' perceptions of you. They'll influence how people see you and feel about you. Your mission is to rise above the chaos and remain largely, if not entirely, unaffected. I've experienced this challenge in various parts of my life, so I understand how tough it can be. Once they can't drain your energy or manipulate you any longer, they will work overtime to damage your reputation. Unfortunately, this is the game they play. It can be daunting to think you'll be in the crosshairs, but knowing what to expect can help. Prepare for the worst and take the necessary steps to protect yourself. By doing this, you'll be less likely to be impacted by whatever the narcissist spreads, regardless of who decides to believe their lies.